The rest of the holiday was incident-free and Ethan has just about forgotten about the whole Halloween thing, when a knock on the door a few days before Christmas reminded him. It was Constable Jones. He was still investigating the Halloween incident and just wanted to ask a few questions. Apparently, they were just making sure there was no foul play, and that it was indeed an accident. Luckily Ethan wasn't there, so he couldn't contribute much to the investigation, but the interrogation just brought everything back to the front of his memory. A few somber days followed the visit of Constable Jones. Dan sent a message after his visit from the constable. He was clearly upset by this, more so than Ethan. It is probably because Dan was there and saw the whole thing happen, so answering all the detailed questions must have been hard on him. None of them actually suspected it to be anything but an accident, so being confronted with the idea that it could have been caused by foul play was a harsh reality to deal with. Ethan decided to get the pals together for milkshakes at the deli around the corner, to get Dan's mind off of the whole thing. They arranged to meet up. Ethan took his skateboard, the others arrived by bicycle. First, they spoke about Mark and Sam's holidays and all the great things they have done and seen. Then they discussed their Santa wish list for Christmas gifts. When the milkshakes arrived, they compared flavors and agreed that Dan's peanut butter choice was the clear winner. They were just about to leave, when Dan asked, "Did you all get a visit from Constable Jones too?" Mark and Sam just nodded, followed by an uncomfortable silence. Ethan broke the silence with, "Well, we will know soon enough." The pals went each their own way and Ethan decided to follow Dan home, to check that he really is okay. Dan arrived a few minutes before Ethan and decided to take a swim, not knowing Ethan was following him. Ethan knocked on the door and was led by Dan's sister to the pool. Dan got out and the two boys lay on the loungers, just staring at the clouds move. "Are you doing okay, Dan?" asked Ethan. "I'll be fine as soon as this whole investigation is over. I was just about to move on, when the constable visited and stirred things up all over again." He responded with frustration in his voice. "Do you think it's possible that there was foul play involved?" "I don't know. I suppose it's possible, but it is also possible that it was just an accident, so let's not make our own assumptions and wait for the results of the investigation. Worrying about it won't change a thing," Ethan replied. "Yeah, I suppose you were right." Dan sighed as he got up and jumped into the pool, making a huge splash all over Ethan. The boys laughed and Ethan went home. The smell of turkey braising and gingerbread men baking was lingering in the house already, when the phone rang. It was Constable Jones. Ethan's father answered the phone. Ethan turned down the TV to try and hear what he was saying, but his dad mumbled too much. He waited eagerly for his father to finish the phone call and then jumped up to follow him down the hallway to the kitchen where his mom was cooking. "That was Constable Jones," his father announced the obvious, as he said his name quite loud when he greeted him. "Yes," answered his mom with anticipation in her voice. "He says that after a thorough investigation and interrogation of all witnesses, it seems after all that it was only an accident," his father uttered. Ethan felt like a heavy weight was lifted from his shoulders, as if the outcome would have affected him at all. He immediately messaged Dan to ask if he heard the news. Dan responded with clear relief in his words. At last he could move on and try to forget the whole thing. The next day an article in the newspaper followed, reading, "We conclude that there was no evidence of foul play." Seeing it printed in black and white was like reading the last sentence in a book. At last, everyone could find some closure.